Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Can you look in this direction though, since we have the camera?
Where do you stand on EPA Chesapeake Bay plan?
When you speak
The Marcellus Shale.
Oh, Marcellus Shale. The landmass of the Marcellus Shale. It's quite an area. 100% of which is the New York City watershed. It baffles me why, given the technology that we have today, with the 16-inch casings that go right down to the bedrock, that enclose all the fracturing materials, and have been approved by the EPA and the DEC, why are we still fooling around with the area, the other 80% of that landmass, and denying upstate New York a shot mirror, an economic big shot mirror, a multi-billion-dollar industry that could be giving jobs like we've got right over the border right now in Pennsylvania. People are out there buying Lexuses and Cadillacs, and they're enjoying an economic revival. Why are we fooling around with that? Yes, we can protect the New York City watershed. We don't have to drill it, but we can drill everything to the west. And that's, the people out there aren't complaining. They want that economic revival, and that's what we should do.
And along the line of the DEC, yesterday Tim Rannis was fired. And, do you support the fact that he was fired? And if you were to be elected governor, would you reinstate him? He was a big part of the DEC.
I don't know why he was fired. I'm not familiar with the story. Look it up.
Talk about some of your ideas for job creation.
Lower taxes, less governmental licensing, regulations, and rules coming out of a progressive bureaucracy that wants to sustain itself and continue to grow. When we do those things, we lower the taxes, get rid of a lot of these rules and regulations that have scared so many jobs away from New York. We will promote jobs and create an atmosphere that's inviting for development in our state. Just talking about the nonsensical studies that have to get done, right, and the inability of our government to rationalize that 80% of this Marcellus Shale area could be drilled. Why are we not promoting that thing and getting those jobs in? 25,000 jobs paying an average of $50,000 each for 325 wells. Why aren't we doing it? And then you put it into the domino effect. You've got a multi-billion-dollar effect in the state of New York, and the people need that.
Carl, you've been fundraising for the past few days, but not doing a lot of public events, especially down in New York City. Is there some reason you're not doing public events this week, with only until today, with only 2 weeks to go in the election? You're afraid of the press down there?
No, I'm not afraid of the press, but I'm not going to feed the nonsense of them taking a Siena poll, which is so incredible, and we witnessed it just recently in the primary. They had me down 1 point 2 days before the primary, and we won by 26 points. They don't have any credibility whatsoever. They're just out there feeding their egos and doing polls that they shouldn't be doing, because there's no way that they can gauge the turnout. Then they have me down 37 points, and the locusts in the press, they come out and they want to attack me every day and say I'm falling apart, my campaign's falling apart. How disgusting is that? So yes, I'll shut down the press. I don't need them to start a feeding frenzy at me. I'm down 14 points according to the Rasmussen poll, which is a more respected poll in the state of New York. But I don't think they should do any polling. I think the big poll is November 2nd, and that's when we're going to win. Because the vote is coming out. The people are frustrated. They're tired of this government for all the reasons you heard this afternoon when I spoke.
There's a group of people outside who are rallying against some what they call anti-gay remarks that you had made.
We're not getting into any of that anymore.
Mr. Paladino, I wanted to follow up on a question about the Marcellus Shale. Now, have you actually been to any of the rig tours? Have you been involved?
I have talked to the geologists. I've talked to people in the industry. I've talked to the DEC people. Okay. The technology now that they forced into this industry, not forced, but the industry has developed, is so refined that bringing a 16-inch casing all the way down to the area that they're going to do the fracturing and avoiding any contact whatsoever by having all the materials contained in that casing is about as risk-free as you can possibly get. Pennsylvania and Ohio have been doing it for years. Small groups of environmental people who want to excite people and say the world's coming to an end want to deny us this industry. We should be smarter than that. We don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We make it happen. We don't have to drill the New York watershed. If they feel the risk is so high on the New York watershed, fine. Let's do the other 80% of the landmass. Let's create 25,000 jobs at $50,000 a job.
Paladino, you touched on this a little bit earlier in terms of property taxes and pension reform. Can you just elaborate on that a bit more in terms of how you think if you do lower
pension, we need pension reform in the state of New York, and there's a lot of considerations that go into it. And we're going to renegotiate contracts next year with the unions, and we're going to expect them to act reasonably. The negotiations are not going to be in secret. They're going to be open to the public. They're going to sit there, and the entire press corps is going to be there, and the people are going to be watching in the window as these unions try to justify to the government, right, that they can continue with this ridiculous pension rules that we have today.
So is that the major?
And we'll use every hammer we have in that negotiation, including binding arbitration.
Eric, you were saying about lowering property taxes. Is that the major component of how you'll be able to make that happen, or are there other elements as well in terms of how you'll
No, property taxes are composed of mandate programs such as school mandates, and we intend to dismember the central staffing of our State Board of Education so that they can promulgate only general rules and they don't hand down these very expensive mandates to the locals. The locals who pay all the bills and will dictate the curriculum, the policy, and the cost of that education at a local level.
One more question. Are you putting all your marbles on a giant turnout in Western New York? Is that why you're spending so much time up here and not focusing on the suburbs at all?
We've been everywhere in the state, Mike. I don't know why you say that. Yes, I can't.
In general, actually, you haven't been.
I can't get to every person in the state. We're advertising. We're doing mailings. Okay, our campaign is structured as best we can. I can't get out there, and you don't see me doing many public rallies. Okay, because you just can't. There's not enough hours in the day to try to hit 19 million people. We have to accomplish that by getting funds and advertising. Okay, to tell people who we are. We're not avoiding any part of this state. You know, we've been very big. Our advertising has been very big down on Long Island. It's been very big in the Hudson Valley. It's been very big in the city of New York.
Thank you.